Hi, I'm Anna McGough, and today my presentation is on collage art. I will be showing you how to think of what you want to do your collage on and how to compose your artwork. And we will be cutting out and gluing and then reviewing. So, what is a collage? The Cambridge Dictionary says that the art of making a picture in which various materials or objects, for example, paper, cloth, or photographs, are stuck onto a large surface. So, our step one will be choosing a theme. Now, your theme could be your favorite sport. It could be your favorite aesthetic, like there's an aesthetic called fairycore, cottagecore, grunge. You could choose clothing, you could choose puzzles, you could choose really anything there is. It's really good to choose something that means something to you. So like, for instance, I would choose fashion or makeup or vintage things because those types of things mean a lot to me. So whatever means a lot to you. I know that some people like basketball and some people like traveling. So you might get pictures of things you would do while you're traveling, like campers and things like that. So, step two, collect magazines and other materials you wish to work with. Now, it does not have to be magazines. It can be anything. You can find pictures on the internet and print them out. You can find pictures in a newspaper. You can, the best one is magazines, but you can, sales ads. I mean, if you were doing one on food, you could look in a grocery store sale ad paper and cut out the food in that. And that could be part of your collage. You could even get books that you didn't want to use anymore and cut out pictures and words and things like that. It does not have to be magazines, but today we are going to use magazines. Here's a quote that I found from Andy Clark on the materials of a collage. It's always helpful to look outside of the web for your inspiration, to places where you might not at first expect to find a solution. The world is a collage of inspiration, from newspapers, magazines, publishing, and advertising, to product design, architecture, and the fine arts. So, exactly what I said. You can use just about any medium you can think of as a collage. It's really cool whenever you get to use books because they are also a different texture than magazines. And it gives the collage a really good look because it does add something visually interesting to the piece. Step three is to cut out your pictures that you found. So here I have a piece out of a Ulta beauty catalog, and we will be cutting out this little blush. So we cut out the blush and you try to get it as close to it, leaving no negative space outside of it. So this is just a simple circle, so we just cut out the circle. But obviously I've cut out a brush here already. So I mean, I tried to get as close to the brush as humanly possible. And so you just continue cutting out your little guy here. Let's see. And even if you mess up, it's perfectly okay because see how I put it in a flat edge? I can put it on the side of the paper. Now, you can choose any paper for your medium. Here I have a huge stack of paper. So there's that. I chose green paper because green is my favorite color. So here we have our little cutout, and I cut out a minute ago this little lady here. Nice little lady. But see how there's really no negative space outside of her. There's a little bit of pink right here, but I tried to cut as close to her body as I could because it makes the art much more visually interesting. Step 4 is to glue your pictures onto your medium. So I'm using paper. You can use, if you want to do it big, you could use poster board or a canvas even. The canvas also gives it a really nice texture whenever you use canvas. And we also have a glue stick to glue our stuff on. You can use Mod Podge, does not matter. I'm using a glue stick right now. So we have our little blush here. And this is, I've already done some of this to show you what it's going to look like. And so you have some negative space here. And this was negative space, and as was this over here. But I cut that off to make it more interesting. And so I am going to glue my little blush right here onto my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on. I like to put the glue on just on there instead of on the little picture, because it doesn't really matter, but it sticks better, I've found, whenever I do it like this. So I'm just going to stick the little blush right there, covering up that green space. And the good thing about the glue stick, and I guess Mod Podge and liquid glue as well, is that whenever you stick it on there, you can move it around slightly because it's a little slick. So you can move it around to where you want it to be. The only bad thing about this kind of glue though, whenever it dries, it'll bleach the paper that it's on actually, especially if you're using construction paper, it will bleach it. So any that you have around your paper, you can tell if you got outside the lines. So now that we have that glued on to step 5. Step 5 is to review. So what you do in the review stage is you just look at it and see if you're done with it. And if not, you just repeat the steps. Now here on mine, I have these little green spaces, which is called negative space. And I had some negative space here, didn't want to cut it off. So I think I will do the same here because I just don't want that. So I'm gonna make a nice little shape here. I'm gonna just cut that off, make that a little bit more interesting. Now, this is some green space right here, negative space. I could have fixed that by moving her slightly over. So what I'll have to do instead is just trim this entire side, but I will do that later. So I'm looking at this and I like how it looks, and so I'm done. Now you can glue the edges down more, but this is an example. So, but now you've glued everything down, you have picked your theme, you have cut out your images, picked where you're going to find your images, cut them out, glued them onto your paper, and now you have your very own collage. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I love collages. It is my favorite type of art sometimes, especially if I'm just feeling artistic and not really wanting to think very hard about what I want to make. But sometimes I just have a feeling, you know, and I want to express that feeling. And collages help me do that. So I hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. I know that I do. So yeah, that's it.